Are you struggling to justify engineering investments to leadership? In this video, I'll show you a simple framework to track return on investment, make data-driven decisions, and avoid endless debate. Whether you're a mid-size or enterprise business, this framework will help you to allocate resources efficiently and align your teams around shared goals. Let's dive into how you can streamline your engineering strategy and boost productivity. Let me introduce the engineering investment framework. This framework is divided into 4 key buckets, 1 mandatory and 3 elective ones, each representing a different area where resources can be allocated. The mandatory bucket, Keep the Lights On, or the KTLO bucket, covers essential work to maintain the business. The elective buckets focus on building new features, improving existing ones, and boosting the engineering productivity. Let's take a closer look at each of the different buckets. First up, we have the Keep the Lights On bucket. This mandatory bucket includes all the work required to maintain core business operations. It covers critical tasks like maintaining security, ensuring service uptime, fixing functional defects, and staying up to date with external dependencies. It's essential to keep this bucket lean, including only the bare minimum needed to sustain operations. Overestimating the Keep the Lights On bucket can lead to gaming the system, which undermines the framework. Next, the Building New Features bucket is an elective bucket that focuses on creating new products and features, driving customer acquisition, and expanding the user base. It's often seen as the most impactful growth and revenue bucket. Work here includes developing new capabilities, launching new products, and expanding existing services. And thirdly, let's discuss improving existing features buckets. This bucket emphasizes enhancing current products to boost quality and customer satisfaction, a key factor in customer retention. Examples include here addressing customer requests, improving product performance, enhancing usability, and also the documentation. And lastly, let's discuss the boosting engineering productivity bucket. This bucket focuses on internal improvements that enhance the team's efficiency, often invisible to customers, but crucial for long-term success. This bucket includes developing better tooling, automating testing processes, reducing technical debt, and streamlining the Keep the Lights On tasks through automation. By balancing these buckets, you can allocate resources effectively to drive growth, improve products, and maintain efficient operations. Now that we've outlined the 4 buckets and their roles, let's take a look at some of the example configurations that show how the different priorities can shape your resource allocation strategy. Now, let's explore a few example configurations to see how different priorities can shape your investment strategy. Note that we won't specify a percentage for the Keep the Lights On bucket, as it should always be kept as lean as possible. First, feature velocity configuration. This configuration prioritizes rapid development of new features to drive growth. The allocation might look like this. Here, 60% of our resources are focused on developing and launching new features to attract new users and increase revenue. 20% of our resources are dedicated to enhancing existing features, but it's not the main focus. And the final 20% of our resources focuses on internal productivity and scaling. This ensures the team remains efficient, continuing to push new features on quickly. This setup is perfect for companies in a high-growth phase focused on innovation and speed to the market. Further, the customer retention and satisfaction configuration. In this configuration, the focus is on improving the user experience and boosting customer satisfaction. We spend 20% of our resources on building new features. This allows us to maintain some level of product innovation. Further, 50% of the resources are dedicated to improving existing features, focusing on refining current products to improve quality, performance, and also the user satisfaction. And the last 30% is dedicated to boosting engineering productivity. In other words, we want to use these resources to ensure internal efficiency to support product improvements and customer needs. This configuration is ideal for companies focusing on customer retention and enhancing the product experience. And lastly, future growth preparation configuration. This last setup focuses on building internal productivity to prepare for scaling and future growth. Only 20% of our resources is used to develop new features to maintain some innovation. Same for improving existing features. 20% of our resources are allocated to refining existing features for a stable product base. The largest portion goes towards internal productivity improvements, which is 60% of our resources. This includes automating processes, reducing technical debt, and preparing the team for faster future development. This approach works well for companies that anticipate scaling in the near future and want to ensure that engineering teams are ready to handle it efficiently. In short, what are the goals of this framework? This framework aims to achieve 3 main goals. Firstly, the framework improves annual strategic planning, Aligning multiple engineering teams with different priorities is critical to avoid chaos. This framework helps balance various company needs, such as feature development, reducing technical debt, and improving internal tools, ensuring the engineering budget is used efficiently. The framework also helps with aligning teams on priorities. Different teams often have conflicting priorities. This framework sets annual goals to ensure all the teams are aligned with company-wide objectives, reducing conflicts and building trust. And lastly, a major benefit this framework offers is the increase in transparency. Engineering work can be hard to quantify compared to other departments. The framework creates clarity by defining top-level metrics and communicating engineering needs to all stakeholders, fostering transparency and trust. In conclusion, the framework helps distinguish between essential maintenance work and investment opportunities based on the company priorities. It can be adapted to fit your specific needs, allowing you to track and manage engineering resources more effectively. If you're ready to implement the approach, explore DevStats engineering investment feature for detailed insights. Hey, this is Michiel from the future to guide you through the engineering dashboard feature. DevStats automatically tracks all the buckets we've discussed, from the keep the lights on bucket to the productivity bucket. The great thing about DevStats is that it handles the breakdown for you. You can click on any bucket to see how it has evolved over time. Right now we're looking at a monthly overview, but you can adjust the granularity by selecting different time views. If you want to focus on specific teams or individuals, you can filter the breakdowns by squads or players to get a more detailed look at their performance.